Good morning, guys. Welcome to my replay viewers again. Glad to have you here. Sorry we missed you live if you're watching this on the replay, but we're glad you're checking it out. Welcome to my live crew one more time. This is my second interview of the morning. Thank you all so much for coming in to hang out with us. Takara, thanks for coming right back, girl. Appreciate you. Larissa, great morning to you. Sherry's in here. Good morning, Sherry. Already appreciating us with some coin. I appreciate that. Y'all are amazing. I have the pleasure of interviewing my great friend and client, Tasha Hart, this morning. Tasha is the founder of Puzzled to Purpose, and I cannot wait for you to hear from her this morning because this girl has a gift and an ability beyond someone that I've ever met before. I've never heard what Tasha does by anybody, and I can't wait for you to be introduced to her this morning. Super excited for you to learn from her, hear from her, and see what the Lord does through her and hopefully through you this morning. So we're going to dive right into it real quick. In case you're new to me on all the platforms that we're on, welcome. My name is Justin Kappan. JustinKappanPro.com is my website. I'm a startup business mentor and a branding strategist that specializes in helping startup entrepreneurs turn your passion, your gifting, your ideas into a profitable and scalable brand, leveraging the power of social media marketing. So if you are new to us, welcome. Jim, good morning. Angela, good morning. Tracy, good morning. Brian, good morning. All you guys, I appreciate you. If anybody's brand new, feel free to put a first time in the chat stream. We would love to know if it's your first time here, and we would definitely love to say hello. I'm going to bring my girl Tasha in to hang out with us. Tasha, your mic is live, and you're coming on screen here just shortly. Tasha can say hello. I want to make sure we can hear you. Tasha, can I hear you okay?
Yes, I can hear you too.
You sound great. We look great. We sound great. I love it. We're going to dive right into this. So, Tasha, let me just start by imagining there's a bunch of people in this broadcast that may not know who you are. So, tell us who you are. Tell us what you do, and while you're at it, also tell us what you don't do, so people can kind of get both perspectives of that. Go right ahead, buddy.
Awesome. Well, my name is Tasha Hart, otherwise known as the Puzzle Lady, and I'm the founder of Puzzled to Purpose, how to go from being puzzled to having intentional, crazy, strategic purpose in all areas of your life. That's what I do. That's what I eat, sleep, and breathe and talk about.
I love it. And
what I don't do.
Yeah, tell us what you don't do. I'd love to know that.
What I don't do is try to, and it's funny because I was listening to your interview with Sherry, and it's going to seem like we copied notes because I don't try to conform people to be like me. I truly believe that people have a unique fit and a unique shape similar to a puzzle piece. And my job isn't to try and cut you and shape you and form you to be like me. It's to help you understand that knowing what piece you are positions you to accelerate in your purpose. So that's what I do. That's what I talk about. What I don't do is leave you in pieces, similar to what Sherry was saying. I don't leave you just all disconnected with all this information. I walk you through piece by piece how your piece matters and what that looks like in terms of your purpose, your God-given purpose.
I love it. I can't wait to dive into the pieces a little bit more because I find it so fascinating how you use that analogy. But before we go there, let's talk about purpose for a second, because purpose is a big word. It's a buzzword. I think in a lot of cases, people, overuse the word. It gets thrown around all over social media and in, Christian and religious communities alike. Everybody's talking about finding your purpose and stepping into your purpose and becoming your purpose and all the things. So I'd love to just unpack the word purpose for a second. Can you tell me in your words what purpose means to you and why you're so passionate about it?
Well, for people that don't know me, I have a motto: if I can't glue it, I don't do it. I like to keep things simple. I am so simple. Hand me a glue gun and let's just stick that thing on the wall. Yeah. So for me, purpose is so simple. It is just your why for doing something. Purpose is not who you are, so to speak. It's not what you do. It's why. It's why you were created. It's why. And it's funny because the scripture, Jeremiah 29:11, it starts out saying, "For I know the plans." And that word "know," people don't really pay attention to. God just said he knows something, meaning he knows why he created you. So your purpose is why. And if you keep it that simple, I don't think it's complicated.
Yep. I love that. And I think simple is good on a topic on purpose. I think it's something that I think a lot of people really really get confused by, and I think sometimes when people hear you talk about purpose, it just feels so big and so overwhelming that they're not even sure how to even pursue that. So I love that you're breaking that down and making it simpler. So with all the things that you do, yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with Tasha for I think about
Yeah.
9 months or so. We've done a lot together in 9 months. But I've been kind of watching you grow and seeing you really kind of step into this and really embrace all the things that come along with doing what you do. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Sherry. Did you have a kind of a fork in the road moment where the Lord was kind of nudging you or pulling you to really go do this and go all in to really try to coach and help people? Was there a particular moment that you were like, all right, I need to really give this a chance and I need to really go all in and let the Lord work through me in this? Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, the fork in the road. Well, I think we've all come to what I call barriers, but an actual fork in the road for me happened last year. I think it happened for a lot of people, but how you choose to approach it is what made the difference. And I remember following you on Periscope, and for whatever reason, well, I know the reason. I got intimidated. I got intimidated by Justin, but
I've heard
he
people
reached
tell me that before. I'm a pretty nice guy, and I've
yeah,
actually, I was having this conversation, I think, with
yeah.
Larissa or somebody recently, and I'm like, I used to have people tell me all the time that I was intimidating, and they were a little bit nervous to reach out to me because they was afraid I was just gonna beat them up, if they decided to hire me. And I think I've softened my approach a little bit over the years,
Yeah.
but I've heard that before, so you're not the first one that's told me that.
So I like you said, that fork in the road came with everything that happened last year. My oldest son, who is now 23, he just blew my mind. A lot of things he was starting to ask questions about, and he leads a small group at his apartment every week, and he's
Wow.
just going in. He's going in, and I really felt this pull, with God's telling me that you've got to continue to lead so he has somewhere to follow. And that pushed me. And so when I began to look for help, how do I do this? You came back into my life, in terms of we reconnected, and I would watch you here and there, but it was just like this urgency to, we've got to get past, like you said, the fork in the road. It's now or never. You have a choice. Either go all in with me, or you are going to end up staying on this hamster wheel, if you will, continuing to do the same things over and over and over again. And I believe God was ready, and I was ready to go past that.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that. I believe that too. I love that. So I've seen you. I mean, I've seen you grow significantly just in the last 9 months that you and I have been able to work together. But you've gone from having this passion. You've always had the passion for puzzles and the analogies with puzzles, and you're really turning that into a business and really putting yourself out there more and becoming more of a content creator and more of a product creator. So what have you learned through this? What's one of the most significant lessons that the Lord has really taught you through this process of becoming really truly the puzzle lady and developing Puzzle to Purpose?
Well, the best lesson that I've learned, the most significant lesson that I've learned, is that I am free to own my piece. It's
Yeah.
one thing to help others, and I'm good at seeing the potential in others, but in order to do that effectively, I have to also see that in myself. I have to have, and I have to be an example for what I am doing for others. And that has been the most significant thing for me, is realizing that potential and allowing others to support me in that. I am
Mhm.
so, or I used to be the person that did not want to be a burden on everybody else. And allowing people like yourself, and I can go down the list, I won't start naming names, that have just come in and just supported me in that, and was like, go for it, keep going, keep moving. That has been the most significant change and lesson that I've learned is, well, and I teach it, we can't do anything alone. No purpose can be completed one piece. You have to have multiple pieces. So I had to let those pieces come into my life, and I'm just thankful for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And the comment of the day so far goes to Sherry. Sherry's comment says, I'm puzzled by the fact that Tasha is a 23-year-old child. I need to stop it because I'm trying to really listen to Tasha, and y'all are dropping some laughter gems over here.
Yeah.
But appreciate y'all. We love your comments. Y'all are amazing. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna ask you another question just because I want you to get it out. I want to know about the pieces. All right, so I think everybody in here has put a puzzle together at some point in our life. Tell us about the different pieces, the way you relate those, because you've shared this with me, and I just think it's so powerful. Tell us about the different pieces and just help us understand like what those different pieces are, and if you can give us kind of a simple summary, because I know you and I could sit here and talk about this for hours, but tell us a bit about it. I'd love to know. I love them to know your perspective of the puzzle pieces and how you figure out what piece you are.
Well, real quick, I of course have my puzzle pieces here to make this easy.
Yes,
but when God took me down this path, this journey, and studying puzzles and actually building the concepts and the analogies, I studied what master puzzle makers do to get a puzzle from the factory to the shelf in the store. And there are three main puzzle pieces. So you have your corner piece, and of course it has two straight edges, and then you have your center pieces, which have no edges, and then you have your edge piece because it only has one edge. And each piece has a strategic position when you're putting a puzzle together. So for instance, your corner pieces are typically your CEOs, your visionaries, the lead pastor. They're the ones that come up with the ideas. They are the cornerstone, if you will, of that thing. Your edge pieces usually are the support or the framework. And if you put a puzzle together, you know that the edge pieces are typically what you want to connect first. That's your leadership. That's your support. They protect your vision. They help guide and direct your vision. And then your centerpieces, they are the majority. And you want to treat them well. And there's a lot that comes with understanding how these pieces are positioned and how they work and how they connect. But the bottom line is, Justin, that when you know which piece you are, you can see things and communicate from a perspective and a position of strength instead of being this misfit that's always finding yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you're wondering why your purpose isn't moving forward. And once you understand that, I mean, like you said, we could talk about this all day. I get excited. Yeah. Once you understand that, it's so freeing. It's freeing for the people around you. It's freeing for you. And it allows you to have more effective relationships.
I love that. And I think it's awesome. And I guess another thing I'd like you to tackle too is, I could see someone that's listening to this being like, all right, well, it sounds like to me, like, the corner pieces are the ones that are most important. Then the edge pieces, are right along with that. But then am I just a centerpiece? If you're a centerpiece, it doesn't mean that you're less than. It just means that that's the piece that you play. Can you touch on that I guess, misconception, if you want to call that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things I talk about. Your position doesn't determine your potential, and it doesn't determine your purpose, because and I guess we've talked about this. You can have not multiple, but different strengths and weaknesses and still operate in those positions. But how effectively you do it is determined by that. So what I mean is nothing can happen without all the pieces.
Right.
I mean, the picture itself can't be complete without all the pieces. Therefore, every piece is equally important. No piece is more important than the other. Their positions are different. Therefore, their perspectives and the way they communicate and connect are different. And I shared this on a broadcast recently, that just because we don't operate from the same perspective doesn't mean we can't agree and be a part of the same picture. Right. And I think that's what allows us to own our significance and own the piece that we are. I can still be in relationship with you and not have the same perspective, but we can all be working on the same picture. And I think that's just beautiful. And it speaks to how important each piece is and what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
I can be an edge piece, you can be an edge piece, and we're still, even if we're side by side, not going to have the same perspective.
Right.
That
That's
makes
so
me
true.
unique. Yeah.
Yep. So good. I love that. Great explanation. It's perfect. While we're talking about, I guess, misconceptions or misunderstandings, can you tackle again? Let's go back to purpose a little bit. Can you tackle about a common misunderstanding that people may have about purpose or about finding their purpose or their position in life?
Well, yes. And there's actually, I'll tackle two really quickly.
Okay.
One is that one of the most common misconceptions about purpose is that when I'm able to do more, then I'll have achieved my purpose.
Right.
So if I become and I do and I'm doing all these things, and you'll see it in the Bible too, where people say, "Well, I've done all this stuff for you, Lord. I've done all this stuff. I'm
Mhm.
doing everything that I know to do." And the word is do there. But again, purpose is not about what you do, it's not about your title, it's about your why. Why
Mm.
are you doing that? Are you really and truly expressing who you are in Christ through what you do? Just like Sherry expresses that in a different way than I do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that what she does is more important or what I do is more important. It's simply our why that fuels us and allows us to accelerate forward. And that is a common misconception, is that your purpose is the same as a goal.
Mhm.
And a goal is nothing to do. You can have goals all day long. I can have a goal check sheet,
Yep.
and that has nothing to do with why. It has nothing to do with why I exist and why I am who I am and why I do the things I do. So I think you have to explore that. You have to understand why you're doing the things you do and how they are connected.
I love that. So good. Love it. Okay, so let's go to advice. So let's say we got someone listening that's like, I don't know what piece I am, Tasha, or maybe someone is maybe they've had a identity crisis or they're struggling with what purpose do they really even have on this planet and what should they be doing with their life? What advice would you give to someone who's kind of in that stage listening to you today?
Well, I would keep it simple. I go back, I like keeping things simple. I think it gets muddy and complicated when people tell you or you receive this pressure that you need to know what your purpose is. You need to be living your purpose. You need to find it. And there's a lot of you in that. There's a lot of what you need to do when actually, and I'll go back to Jeremiah 29:11, that plan has already been made. So
Mhm.
there really isn't a lot of you that has to be involved except the obedience part, like Sherry mentioned,
Mhm.
because God already knows the plans that He has for you. So, similar to the picture on the front of a puzzle box, if somebody's struggling with their purpose, my thing is to draw a picture of what you expect.
Hmm. That's
What are
cool.
your expectations? Draw a picture of what create that picture, because I believe that God, well, He says it in His word. He goes to the end of a thing, completes it, and then He backs up and starts from the starting line and says, okay, now let's walk our way there. So when you create that picture for your relationship, for a marriage, for your children, for whatever the picture is, you want 3 kids and 2 dogs and a 4-car garage. I mean, you're painting that picture. You're going to the end of a thing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then you back up and you say, okay, God, where are the pieces that I need to bring that picture together?
Mhm.
That's it. And the reason why you're doing it is your purpose.
Mhm. I
So
love that.
people don't have to struggle. They don't have to go and find something out there in the big, wide open spaces and guess. Start drawing your pictures for whatever part of your life, because you can have more than one why. And
Mhm.
that's the other thing.
Oh
People
yeah,
think, well,
absolutely.
it's got to be one ultimate thing that I'm existing for, and
Right.
that's not true. I have several whys,
Mhm.
and God fulfills my purpose in each and every one of those.
Mhm. I'm gonna go a little deeper with another question because I can relate to this one. When you're imagining that picture that you want to paint and that that desire that you have for your life, how do you get past? how do you get past trying to create a picture that has external influences, meaning that you begin to try to paint a picture of your life that you think other people, your friends think you should be, or your your parents think you should be, or your spouse think you should be? How do you get past all of the expectations that you feel everybody else has of you, and find what you truly want? Do you have advice or thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. And I, again, like you said, we could talk about this for hours. One of the things that is so close to my heart is people finding their fit, not being pressured into fitting in just because somebody else wants them there.
Mm-hmm.
You find it in relationships and all across the gamut. But my advice is to obviously seek God for that. But on a practical level, you have to surround yourself with people that you can truly trust to help confirm your pictures, that can help say, you know what, you told me that this is what you wanted, and we discussed how that picture, you want that picture to look like, and so I'm going to be here to support you and help guide you when that picture starts to go askew.
Mm-hmm.
And there are specific things that can deter that picture, and I talk about 7 of them. 7 of them that
Tell them to us.
people, yeah. Well, um, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but
Okay.
if you go back to the book of Joshua, and this is totally something that the Holy Spirit showed me. If you go back to the book of Joshua, when they went into the promised land, they faced 7 specific giants in the land. And those giants still exist today. They show up in all sorts of situations and people. They can even show up in people,
Mm-hmm.
and they are there to stop your purpose. They are there, the promise, your purpose, and what was promised to you. God said, I know the plans I have for you. I know the plan. Here's my promise to you. They are there to deter that, to skew it, to change it, to adapt it to fit their needs. So when you recognize any of those 7, and I go into great detail explaining those so that you become an expert in spotting those in your own life, so
Wow.
that you can move them, address them, keep them out of your picture so your puzzle comes together, your purpose comes together, and as smoothly as possible.
I love that. So good, buddy. Great conversation. We've unpacked a lot in 24 minutes. So
Yeah, we have.
if I got people that are here that don't know you, never connected to you before, how do they find you? Where would you recommend they go? Do you have anything that you want to offer up to the group or tell them about that you got coming up? The mic is yours, girl.
Well, I do want to offer this. If anyone is struggling with finding out who you are in terms of your position, and when I talk about pieces, I'm talking about your position within your purpose. I'm not talking about your personality. I'm not talking about your potential in terms of one piece being more important than the other. This is just where we start the conversation. But I have a free download. So if you message me, if you leave a comment in the chat that you want it, I will reach out to you and send you that download. But you can take it. It's a little exercise, takes less than 3 minutes, and you can kind of figure out from that exercise if you're a corner piece, an edge piece, or centerpiece. And that will allow us to connect and communicate on that level. But if you want anything and everything, all things Puzzled to Purpose, you can go to my website, at which you created, by the way, and it's beautiful. It is puzzled with ed on the end, puzzled the number 2 purpose.com. So puzzled2purpose.com. And with the HAPS challenge that you put out there, Justin, I've been on HAPS Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. and people have been tuning in.
Yep. Yeah. There's some great conversations, girl. Like get plugged into Tasha. She's literally just about everywhere lately. She's really been putting herself out there, and she is on such a mission to help people with this. And the download is super fun, guys. Like I think it's super fun to go through that process and figure out what piece you are. It's very enlightening, but it's a fun thing. So definitely reach out to Tasha. You're amazing, Tasha. Appreciate you. The comments are awesome, guys. If you want to connect to her, connect to her. She's Tasha Hart all across the board. Is your handle at Tasha Hart, or is it Puzzle to Purpose everywhere? I can't recall.
It's at Puzzled to Purpose, puzzled with the number 2, purpose, and it's all across any social media handle.
Right on.
You'll find me at Puzzled to Purpose.
Right on. I love it. Y'all, appreciate you, Tasha. Appreciate you spending time with us this morning. So glad. Hopefully we got some new folks that haven't seen your face before, and you guys get connected. Definitely reach out to Tasha if you got questions or need her help. And Tasha, we're going to split and get out of here. I appreciate you. And guys, listen, have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for spending time in our interview series today. It's been super fun. And we will see you guys all around the web. All right. Take care. God bless y'all. And we'll see y'all later.